Assalamualaikum and hello. This video will present our poster which the title is acid rain. At the first, what is acid rain? Acid rain or acid deposition is a broad term that includes any form of precipitation with acidic components such as sulfuric or nitric acid that fall to the ground from the atmosphere in wet or dry form. This can include rain, snow, fog, hail, and even dust that is acidic. Precipitation processing a pH of about 5.2 or below primarily produced from the emission of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide. The combination of NO and NO2 from human activity, mostly of the combustion of fossil fuel. The acidic deposition takes place in two ways, which is wet and dry. Wet deposition is any form of acidic precipitation which removes acid from the atmosphere and place them into the surface of the earth. In the absence of precipitation, dry deposition of polluting particles and gases stick to the ground through dust and smoke. Acid rain results when sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide are emitted into the atmosphere and transported by wind and air currents. The sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide react with water, oxygen, and other chemicals to form sulfuric and nitric acid, then mix with water and other material before falling into the ground. While a small portion of the sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide that causes acid rain is from natural causes or source such as volcano, and most of it comes from the burning of fossil fuels. The major source of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide in the atmosphere are burning of fossil fuels to generate electricity, 2/3 of sulfur dioxide and 1/4 of nitrogen oxide in the atmosphere come from electric power generation. Then, vehicle and heavy equipment. And lastly is manufacturing, oil refineries, and other industry such as factory. Then by wind can blow sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide over long distance and across border to making acid rain a problem for everyone, not just those who live close to this source. Based on the figure show the step about pathway of acid rain. First, the emission of nitrogen oxide and sulfur dioxide are released into the air from the factor, vehicle, open burning, and so on. Based on the error, part 1, number 1. Further on, the pollution that released into the air convert to the acid particle are transported over long distance based on the part 2. These particles further fall down to the earth through dust, rain, and snow, which to form wet or dry deposition. Fact 3. Finally, the acid rain may cause effect on the soil, forest, and stream or the lakes. Fact 4.
What is acid rain? Acid rain is any form of precipitation with high levels of nitric and sulfuric acids. It can occur in the form of snow, fog, and even dry materials that settle to earth. Most acid rain is caused by human activities. When people burn fossil fuels, sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides are released into the atmosphere. These gases react with water, oxygen, and other substances to form sulfuric and nitric acid. Winds may spread these acidic solutions over hundreds of miles. After it falls to Earth, acid rain enters water systems as runoff and sinks into the ground. This can make water toxic to crayfish, clams, fish, and other aquatic animals. The rest of the food chain, including non-aquatic species such as birds, is often affected as well. Acid rain also harms forests by damaging trees' leaves, robbing the soil of essential nutrients, and making it hard for trees to take up water. By designing cleaner power plants and using fewer fossil fuels, we can reduce the number of pollutants that create acid rain.
There are some causes that might be occurred by acid rain, which is decaying vegetation, biological processes within the environment by emission of sulfur dioxide, SO2, and nitrogen oxide, resulting from fuel combustion. The next one, electricity generation that power plants also produce large amounts of nitrogen dioxide and sulfur dioxide. C. pH gets lower below 7. Usually gases such as sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide are involved in the formation of acid rain. This causes the pH of the water drop below its usual natural pH and result in causing destructive effects on different life forms such as plants, animals, as well the infrastructure. So D. Burning fossil fuels combined with water in air, which is acid rain, result when sulfur dioxide, SO2, and nitrogen oxides are emitted into the atmosphere and transported by wind and air currents. And the last one is power plant release sulfur dioxide and much of nitrogen oxide. Power plants release the majority of sulfur dioxide and much of the nitrogen oxides when the burning fossil fuels such as coals to produce electricity. In addition, the exhaust from cars, trucks, and buses releases nitrogen oxides and sulfur dioxide into the air.
Okay, there are some effects of acid rain that are stated here. For the first point is it will corrode the building, bridge, statues, and structure made of metal or stone. For the real-life example is Taj Mahal, one of the 7 wonders of the world, is largely affected by the acid rain. The city of Agra has many industries which emit dioxide, sulfur, and nitrogen in the atmosphere, where people continue to use a low-quality coal and firewood as a domestic fuel that will adding to this problem. Okay, the next example is Statues of Liberty, which is made which is made of copper and has been damaged by the cumulative of acid rain and oxidation for over 30 years and is therefore becoming green. Okay, the second point is kill fish in lakes and river. This is happen when acid rain falls down and flows into the river and lakes. It will make the water more acidic and it affect the aquatic ecosystem. It also can alter the chemical composition of the water to a form which is actually harmful to the aquatic ecosystem to survive and causes the water pollution. Okay, for the third point, it will kill plant and vegetation. Where the acid rain, it will remove the mineral and nutrient from the soil that trees needs to grow. For the young rootless or small root plant are more likely to be affected severely. Last but not least is leading to the deforestation. Acid rain damage forests, especially those at higher elevations, because they are exposed to the acidic clouds and fog, which contain the greater amount of acid than the rain and snow. The acid deposits, it will rob the soil of essential nutrients such as calcium, and it will release the aluminium to the soil, which is make it hard for tree to take up the water. This loss of nutrient make it easier for infection, insect and cold weather to damage the trees and forests.
Some prevention can be managed to reduce acid rain in many ways. So the first one is optimize fossil energy processes. A great way to reduce acid rain is to produce energy without using fossil fuels. Instead, people can use renewable energy sources such as solar and wind power. So the second one is transition to renewable energies. Alternative fuels. An excellent way to prevent acid rain is to stop using non-renewable fuels and switch over to renewable sources of energy such as solar, wind and water energy. The next one is confine the use of fertilizers and pesticides, and the next one is restoring environments such as regulate industries to control emissions. Other than that, reduce consumption levels. So renewable energy sources help reduce acid rains because they produce much less pollution. Number 6, convince others and educate them, such as people should be carpooling to reduce the creation of acid rain, and government agencies and scientists are not the only one that can take action to stop acid rain. And the last one is government regulations.
Hi, my name is Farid bin Habibul Mujidin from class AS2292B. Right now, I'm going to talk about the environment and law regarding the acid rain. Okay, Malaysian environment laws and policies. Malaysia has ratified international conventions to protect the environment from Section 43 of the Environmental Quality Act 1974. Through its amendment in 2007, invoked Section 43 to extend liability, punishment for offences against the EQA to any person or company. Okay, next, I'm going to talk about the fact about the acid rain. Acid rain in Hong Kong goes down to an average of pH 4.4, but it has been known to go down all the way to 3.1, and it is not improving much. This is a global issue. Hong Kong is making ships entering its port to reduce their sulfur use to 0.5% to reduce the acid rain problem.
As conclusion, we can say that acid rain is a very important issue that has a bad effect on the environment. So, we can help to prevent this acid rain in a very simple way, which is not polluting the air by using less electricity and transportation that is friendly to the environment. As said, prevention is better than cure. So, that's all from our group. Thank you.